Hey, I'll see you on tour in Las Vegas, Chicago, and Grand Rapids. In Chicago, it's stand-up and a live panel show. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and make sure you go to jimmydore.com. But now, even bigger news. Mark Halperin. Do you remember Mark Halperin? He used to be a big shot. He was always on Morning Joe Ball. He was always all over MSNBC. I forget who he used to work for, but I think maybe even I forget he used to work for maybe the New York Times or Politico or Newsweek or something, or Time. He was a real fastball down the middle. He's a credible source because he's got a lot of connections. So, but now he works for Newsmax because he got Me Too Day. He got Me Too'd.
He was the political director for ABC News.
Yeah, there you go. Political director for ABC News.
And senior analyst for MSNBC.
And senior analyst at MSNBC. And then he got Me Too'd. Yeah. And so now he's over at Newsmax. But listen to what he has to say. This is a big deal.
Carl, according to multiple Democratic sources, this is happening all of a sudden. Everyone said it would happen gradually and then all at once, and that's what's happening. According to my sources, President Biden has agreed to step down as the Democratic nominee.
Oh,
It will happen as early as this weekend. A speech has been drafted for him. He will continue on as president, is his intention. He also will not, I'm told, endorse Vice President Harris as his successor.
Not going to endorse his vice president. Wow. You know why? Because he's never heard of her. Come on. Come on. Huh? How about Gavin Newsom? Huh? I think he knew some of the people on Epstein's client list, if you know what I'm talking about. Kamala Harris living a Seinfeld episode about nothing. So here we go. There's more. He's got more.
They're hoping that he will endorse an open process.
An open process.
The convention will be open to Vice President Harris and a few other candidates in Chicago to pick the Democratic nominee for president.
So what this means is,
oh my God,
the delegates are going to choose, not the voters. The delegates, the party insiders, the delegates are going to choose the Democratic presidential nominee, not the voters. So remember when they said democracy is on the ballot? It was never on the ballot. And I have a feeling that this was their plan all along. Their plan all along was to have Joe Biden go through the primary so he wouldn't have a real primary, so you didn't have to hear anybody on stage tell him about funding genocide in Gaza. And then once you got to, then get rid of him. Does that sound like a crazy plan? I don't know. Makes sense to me. So now they're getting rid of him. They are getting, now everybody, so what we were saying since 2019, Joe Biden's demented. Now everybody's like, yeah, he's demented.
Except Whoopi Goldberg.
Except Whoopi Goldberg. He just stepped in poo. She steps in poo all the time.
She poops her pants all the time.
I know. She poops her pants. He's got more to say.
The belief is that Vice President Harris is already looking at potential running mates to go to Chicago with a full ticket, including one possibility, Andy Beshear, the governor of Kentucky, and perhaps the governor of Pennsylvania, Governor Shapiro.
I've never heard of either of those fellas. Have you?
No.
Could you look up what they look like even? The governor of Kentucky and the governor of Pennsylvania. I've never... I don't know who they are. Why the governor of Kentucky? I wonder why. Why not Pete Buttigieg? You think that's the pick, right? Get the LGBTQers. Oh, can I see?
Oh, you got him.
He looks like one of Trump's kids, doesn't he?
Yeah.
The governor of Kentucky, Andy Beshear.
Andy
He does.
Beshear.
He looks like one of Trump's kids.
Okay, I'll take a picture of the other guy.
Can you see him? He looks like one of Trump's kids. That's the guy. She's going to pick the whitest guy in the world.
And then here's Josh Shapiro.
And Josh Shapiro. He looks like? Tell me about your lesbian niece.
That's Kevin Spacey.
He looks like Kevin Spacey a little bit. He looks like if Kevin Spacey and Jake Tapper had a kid.
Who parted their hair on the side.
Boy, he got a nice. I could, I'm so sensitive to it. He's got a nice dye job. He dyes his hair, no doubt about it. Governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro. So let's hear a little bit more.
Other possible candidates who are being talked about include Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, perhaps Gretchen Whitmer, and again the vice president running. On the first ballot, the regular delegates would be allowed to vote under this agreement that's being talked about amongst the president and high-level Democrat officials. The regular delegates would vote on the first ballot. If there is no winner on the first ballot, the so-called super delegates would be allowed to vote on the subsequent ballot. This decision was reached, I'm told, all of a sudden because of the high-level pressure from Nancy Pelosi, Barack Obama, and others, and as well as the decision of many of President Biden's top aides that there was no path forward for him, that he would not be able to win this election, win the general election. And therefore, he's stepping aside again as early as this weekend.
Watch him fly up those
Mark,
steps.
what are the political ramifications for a party that based much of their platform on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and they're passing right over Kamala Harris, and he's not going to be endorsing her, according to your sources?
Now, according to my sources, he will say very nice things about her. They do not want what some of my sources have been calling a Kamala coronation.
Why?
The problem, in part, that they found themselves in was that President Biden was not seriously challenged for the nomination. I'm told by some of her people, I don't know that the vice president thinks this, but some of her people believe she will win this, that she'll choose a strong running mate, that she does have the support of many of the delegates who are Biden-Harris delegates, and that she can win this basically on her own. And at least one of her allies said to me, this is better. Better to not be anointed by Joe Biden, better to show independence, better to show with a strong ticket the capacity to win the nomination on her own.
Well, Mark,
really?
That said, though, you're very familiar with campaign finance.
I guess there's a case to be made for that, but it's still weird that Joe Biden isn't endorsing her. What about the campaign finance
laws? He has, 200 and 300 million in his war chest right now. I believe, in my understanding, is Kamala would be the only one who could absorb that and continue on the campaign. How's that going to work when all their big pocket donors have already pushed for that?
Well, there's all sorts of money, right? There's super PAC money, there's low dollars. The belief is that a new ticket will inject excitement into the party, and that both low-dollar donors and the big donors, who in the last few days have sent a strong message to President Biden that they will not support his being the Democratic nominee. So there's a strong belief that with a new ticket that they can raise money from the big-dollar donors who can give and bundle hard dollars, can give super PAC money, as well as the small dollar donations that will come in to whatever the new ticket is, whether it's the vice president or not. If it is the vice president, most campaign finance experts believe she does get to keep the Biden-Harris money.
Oh, look at that. So she gets to keep the cash. So she's got a big advantage.
Yeah.
Put it that way. So here's his, so Biden's not, so that was his tweet about it. Bakari Sellers, who's a famous clown, from one professional clown to the next. He outclowns me any day. Bakari Sellers says, this is weirdly false. Weirdly? It's weird because it's not false. That's what I'm going to guess. The trial balloons are cute, though. Weird. Why would you say weirdly false?
Yeah, no kidding.
What does that mean, weirdly? They got Nancy Pelosi came out, said he's got to quit. They got Chuck Schumer. They got George Clooney. Now that reports that Obama, he came out against him. And this is weirdly false. Maybe this had something to do with it, too.
There was a poll out today, a poll of African-American women showing a 31-point drop in support from 2020 to 2024 in terms of plans to vote for President Biden. There was a poll out today, a poll of African-American women showing a 31-point drop in support from 2020 to 2024 in terms of plans to vote for President Biden.
So maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe he's lost his support with the... You see his speech he gave at the NAACP? He couldn't even read the teleprompter. That's how out of it he was. He just kept saying, I'm going to... anyway. Anyway. And it's during his speech. He was going, anyway. I don't want to get going. So there you go. 31 point drop in black women supporting President Biden. 31 points with black ladies. And no way you can win. No way. So we'll see what happens. I say it's going to be Kamala because all those delegates, they're all Obama. I mean, they're all Biden-Harris delegates. So they already like her. It would look bad if they picked anybody else.
It would look awful for the party.
Yeah. Isn't it weird she's picking white guys to be her running mates? I guess not. I guess Obama did the same thing. He picked a white racist. So I guess that's how you balance a ticket, I guess. Hey, I'll see you on tour in Las Vegas, Chicago, and Grand Rapids. In Chicago, it's stand-up and a live panel show. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and make sure you go to jimmydore.com.